record to this computer. Share.
All right. Well, thanks so much. So it's nice to see so many familiar faces doing this either again or as a new role. So I'm, really excited. I definitely see people that I roped into teaching this semester, more than just Notre Dame people. But I'm excited for you all to be part of this. And so we'll do, overview. Those of you who have joined us, before, this will be some review. There'll be some new stuff, but, please chime in, those of you who are veterans to this, if we miss anything or if you have any tidbits. And we do have, I want to welcome Sarah, Dr. Sarah Wilson. We should have done this before where she could wave, but so she's our new special education professor. So she's on here with us. So that's exciting as well. Um, Brian, do you want to go over
The agenda or try and get
the,
us to say hi to Sarah. I was trying to look. There's Sarah.
oh, sorry. No, I didn't know if
Trying
you
to
wanted me
plan.
to go on into contracts or you wanted to go ahead with more
You can go ahead and do
intro.
contracts. I'm gonna paste the website and the agenda link into in there. So go
Okay,
ahead.
perfect. So this year, if you've gotten a contract from us recently, it's through a new system called eTrieve. And it is in the new phase, I'm going to say. So some of you have gotten it through your email, no problem. Some people, it's gone to their junk mail. Some people haven't gotten it at all. So if you are teaching for us in spring A, all the contracts should have gone out. It comes again from the system called eTrieve. Where you'll sign it electronically and then it'll go back to HR. Um, it's not coming directly from Natalie White anymore, but she will be your contact if you have not received your contract. So that's just something, to be looking for. Term B should be going out in the next few weeks. And then if you are supervising, those contracts are going out in another week or so too. So that's kind of the updates. Um, I'm trying to get Natalie, to send them out further in advance because we're supposed to have our courses up and at least open with the syllabus 2 weeks before the course actually starts. So students can go in, look at the syllabus, look at, what the course requirements are, get the books and materials, and, decide if they're going to go ahead with the course or not. And so I know that some of you have been getting contracts maybe a little bit later than anticipated. So I apologize for that, but we are definitely trying to push that date back so that you'll have your contract and signed in time so that you can hit that 2 week mark and there shouldn't be any issues. Um, Ryan, anything else? You wanna move on to the next one, or you want me to keep going? Am I
No,
stalling
we're
here? What
doing
are we?
great. You can take a breath. You worked all day. Take a rest. I wanted to start with communication with students. So we're going to go right down the agenda, and this is recorded, so we'll send it to you afterwards. I know a lot of people are driving. Please be safe. We will make sure that this is followed up with an email afterwards. I'll send the recording. I'll also send the links and stuff and the resources. I did paste the website that I'm going to refer to quite a bit this session, so please make sure that you go there. And if again, if you can't, you can always go to the website. It's going to give you plenty of information, everything that's gone over. So I wanted to start with communication with students. So, at Notre Dame, we have a lot of working teachers, we have a lot of working principals that are taking classes and courses and so forth. And again, as associate faculty, some full-time faculty, a lot of us are very busy. We have to make sure we're keeping constant communication with our students. So if our students are reaching out to them, we try and promise them that we'll get back to them within 24 hours. And likewise, you should have that same expectation for your students too. If they kind of fall off the face of the earth, It's something that we really don't want them to do. So, try and in your introductory announcements or, maybe your week one, say communication is key. So please make sure you're using your Notre Dame email. If your students make sure that they are also using their Notre Dame email accounts. It's all linked to Canvas. It's also, of course, it's FERPA. It's just protocol. We can guarantee that those emails are going from our systems into Outlook and so forth. So please make sure that you're using that. It doesn't mean that you can't reply to a student that's using Gmail, but again, for good standard operating procedure, use your Notre Dame email for Notre Dame business. Okay. The syllabus template. I have been nagging you, and I'm sorry, but it's for a good reason. So every semester, Angelo and myself, we have to collect your syllabus. It's not just because we are hoarders that we love syllabi, but CAPE requires us to have, a cache of all these different syllabi. But also, when people come and go, we have to be able to kind of hand things off to people. So we want to provide, syllabi as we move forward. Also, we might have new faculty that come on board that might have to teach additional sections. So the best way to do that is for us to collect syllabi. We also do a little bit of a quality assurance. You have to understand is we have to sometimes change the template. Like something might change in the office accessibility, or there might be a policy. Like recently, our undergraduate scale became more standardized with the university. So if you're using an old syllabus template, you're like, oh, I'm just going to change the dates and I'm done. The problem is you're going to have old, outdated policies and like scales and stuff on it. So I ask that you please be vigilant with using the updated syllabus template. I'll show you where you can always download the latest and greatest template. And I'll also, and as you submit it to us, Angelo and myself, and again, if you don't know who to send it to, you can always send it to us both. We don't mind. Send it to us. If you haven't sent it to yet, please make sure you send us a copy. So that way we can just quality check real quick, and you can, of course, share it with your students. So so that is the syllabus template, which again, you can always find with essential documents. So I'm on the website right now, and if you click on essential documents, it's right here. It says School of Education syllabus template. October 2025 version. That's when the university kind of switched undergrad scales, and that is now our latest delivery. I put it in the footer of the syllabus, so kind of quick to know if it has been updated or not. And I also made the undergraduate scale blue instead of orange, so I can kind of quickly look and see if it's been updated or not. If you need a grade change form, you can download it from here. If you need, if you're teaching a course that has lesson plan templates, you can download it here. Trying to see, let's see, Netiquette for students, Netiquette for faculty. If you want to post things to talk about what is acceptable professional behavior in your course between you and your students, there's Netiquette guides for students and for faculty. So that is just some of the information that you can find on the website. So I'm going to go back to the agenda here and talk about self-service. Self-service is our main service page. It's our student information system. It's really where, vital information. It's where students go to pay bills. It's where they can look for their either official schedule. To get there, it is self.ndm.edu. Now, this is my page. So luckily, I'm not a student anymore. So, I'm free to go here. If you want to go to look at schedules and so forth, you can click on the little daily work and go to faculty overview, and you can actually see all of your schedules. Come on there. There we go. Loading a little slowly, sorry. Okay, so I'm back now. So you can see all of my courses here. Now, there is a process where you have to do what's called roster verification. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because I'm here. If you click on these courses, you'll be able to see your class roster. I'm just going to go in real quick. Luckily, I haven't started this, so I'm not really breaching anything. If you want to give them final grades so this is where you actually provide the final grades for students. You actually go to self-service and you would click on grading, provide them final grades. You can either do midterm. Right now, I don't have access to it because we haven't even started the session yet. But if you go to grading, you enter their grades and then you hit the submit button. I want to also put you onto this button called census. So I mentioned roster verification before. Because we accept federal money, we have to make sure that if students are attending our courses, that we're not accepting money on financial aid if they're not actually attending our courses. What we do is we do a roster verification where we verify that students are actively participating in our courses. I typically, since a lot of us are teaching online, roster verification really occurs when people log into Canvas. So I see that they've actively gone to the page. That's what I use. Or you may use another way, as in like email. They're emailing and say, I'm going for the course. I'm going to do the course. But I usually do Canvas activity. I usually go to people and I see that they've done something. So that is one way that you can do it. Anyway, to do your roster verification, you would come here and you'd enter any students that did not attend and you'd hit certified. So that's a very important process you have to do within the first week or within the lead at the very latest the middle of the second week. You want to do it rather quickly. Are there any questions about the roster verification or self-service? Okay. Incompletes. Dr. Letizia, do you want to take over incompletes? I'd like to
Yes.
get a sip of
And
water.
wait, actually, we have a hand. I could take over incompletes, and I'd also like to talk about faculty observations as well.
Absolutely, that'd be perfect. Go ahead.
We do have a hand, Vesna.
Yeah, I have a question regarding roster verification. So if the student doesn't attend and I marked it on a census not attending, do I need to do anything else? I had a recent kind of a mess up with the recent class. If the student doesn't attend, I mark not attending, but do I need to take the next step in terms of notifying registered or anyone else?
So there is a process that we do. It's also called progress monitoring. I'm gonna make sure to talk about that. I think it's a little further down, but it's if a student is not like participating in class or they've stopped participating or they're not doing well in the course, there's actually a reporting process that we
No, no,
can.
no, I know that.
Okay.
I'm aware of that in
Yeah,
terms of
no, so
monitoring.
that's not, no.
Yeah.
So once you do the report roster verification, then
Uh-huh.
you don't have to do anything else. There are times where the registrar doesn't automatically drop from the class, which I think is what happened with your situation, and it's happened with mine too.
Uh-huh.
And so then it shows up on your roster, I mean, on your grading roster at the
I
end.
see.
And so you just have to let the registrar know that, you did submit the roster verification. You said they never attended, and
I
they
see.
never came off. And so then they'll
I
fix
got it.
it for you that way.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't answering your question.
That's okay because I'm aware of the monitoring. I just had an issue with the last class. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, so yes, I'd like to talk about incompletes and the faculty observations. So incompletes really should be reserved for truly extenuating circumstances. You've probably had a student come up to you with, 2 days left in the course and saying, "Oh, I didn't get I didn't get 75% of my work in. Can you give me an incomplete? And I just didn't have the time to do it." No, that's not an incomplete. And I'm sure you've all gotten these sob stories, but our hard and fast rule for incompletes is that a student needs to at least have 50% of the work done, and it really truly needs to be an extenuating circumstance. Again, you have discretion in deciding that extenuating circumstance. So if you're not sure, you can always email Ryan or I, but we do want to hold hard and fast to that these incompletes are not just given to everyone. It really should be for extenuating circumstances, deaths in the family, severe illness, taking care of loved ones, things like that. And really 50% of the work does need to be completed, which that guards against somebody not doing anything and then coming to you the day before the semester ends and saying, oh, I didn't get anything in, but, can I have a few days? No. The way it works is once you do grant the incomplete, when you give grades, it'll say incomplete, and then you have to give a date. Now, this is up to your discretion. I would say that you do not extend it too long, because people forget and sometimes it just gets messy. So, depending on how much needs to be done, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe that is even a little too much. Um, for me personally, I always extend it just an extra day or two, just so it gives me a little bit of time. So if I give them 3 weeks, I might actually put it in for 3.5 weeks. So it gives me a few days just to make sure that I get everything in. Um, and just to make sure everything is taken care of. So if you enter an incomplete and you put it for 3 weeks, let's say, and you don't hear from that person, it turns to an F. I just had this situation not that long ago. I was expecting something on a certain day in November, never got anything, and that's it. Again, so you have the discretion, but you can always email Ryan or I, and we can weigh in. Um, and then you if you do not if the student doesn't give you anything, then it turns to a 0 or it turns to an F. If they write you and say I need more time, it gets kind of messy. I mean, again, that would be a really extenuating circumstance, and I would not advertise that to them beforehand. But you could do that, but I would really only reserve that for really only severe cases. So again, we really want to hold fast to that 50%. So any questions, or I don't know if deans want to weigh in on that, if I missed anything, or if
It's
there's any
it
questions on
it's
that.
typically you go till they get until like it's the middle of the next semester. That's like what's actually in the handbook. So if it let's say they don't complete it in fall, they the very end would be like I think it's March 15th would be the Ides of March. Would be the final where it goes from an incomplete to an F automatically in self-service.
But you don't actually have to give that long, right?
Yeah,
So you can cap it. Um, right. That's yeah. So you can cap it when you would like. And again, that's going to be up to your discretion.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just a little easier. You give them 2 weeks. And again, they might just need to finish a project or something, and it might not be that long, and it's a couple days. So any questions on incompletes?
So Angela, real quick. So when you turn an incomplete into a grade, you'll use that grade change form that Ryan pointed out. You do not need my signature. Um, if it's just an incomplete to a grade. If you're changing a grade to a grade, so if it
Right.
goes to an F, if you it wasn't incomplete and then it reverts to an F, and then you have to put in a grade, I have to sign off on it. So you'll email that to me. And then if I'm not available for some reason, Lisa can always sign off on it. Or if, you mistakenly gave that, a C plus and they should have gotten a B or a B minus, and you're making that grade change, then that comes to me. But if it's just an incomplete and I to a grade, you don't need my signature. You can just send it right to the registrar.
And again, if there's questions, email Ryan or I, and we'll go up the chain of command if we need to. Um, but again, we want to reserve those incompletes for students that really need them, um, and not just give them out. I would like to talk about Ryan. Do you mind if I just hop over and do
Oh,
the
go ahead.
faculty
Go talk about
evaluations?
faculty
Okay.
observations, please.
So many of you on this call have sat with me. I'm looking at the boxes, and many on this call have sat with me through faculty evaluations. This is something we did institute about three or so years ago. And so basically, our plan is every semester we try to touch base with three associate faculty members. And so, again, many of you already know this. There's a self-evaluation form that you fill out about your course. There's an evaluation form that I fill out. We have a meeting, we talk, and then there's another survey afterwards. Most of our classes are asynchronous. I have sat in on some synchronous ones and have done some in-person ones as well. So we have it set up for whatever modality you're teaching. I do want to stress and I think most of you would agree on the call as people that I've sat with. These really aren't supposed to be gotchas. I mean, I've had some really good discussions and really good conversations with many of you on here. Um, Not just about your course, but just about your experience and about Notre Dame and things we can do better. I've worked with others who maybe didn't get the most stellar. We had a great success story of somebody who didn't have the most stellar evaluations. We made some changes to their syllabus and their delivery, and they just got their new course evaluations, and they were awesome. And so that's that, and again that came out of that faculty review because I spoke to this person to change the syllabus and change the delivery, and obviously it worked. So again, I want you to see these as really twofold. Number one, it's always it's feedback and quality improvement of our instruction, but number two, it also allows for us to stay communicative with our associate faculty. I mean, I was an associate faculty, and they kind of just let me do whatever I want, and I felt very disassociated from the institution. I won't name which one it was, but I taught there for like 4 or 5 years, and I never had. And then like the last year, they had some sort of meeting, and they tried to call us all in. So we were trying to get in front of that and try to make you feel a part of what we're doing, because you are. We couldn't do this without you. So that's what that faculty evaluation process is meant to do. It's quality improvement and continuous feedback, but it is also meant to foster a community, because we really couldn't do this without you. So again, deans, I don't know if I missed anything on that, or if anybody has any questions.
All
And
right.
so just last thing, as we do that, you might just get an email from me. So if you see that email requesting a faculty evaluation, don't think like I picked you because you're doing a poor job or anything. I just have a list and I go through it randomly, trying not to repeat. So don't get nervous if you see my email. It's just I'm just picking people at random.
Thank you, Angelo. So I'm now going to talk about book orders. So the bookstore, we do have, of course, our bookstore. It typically you will get before you start to teach an email from the bookstore asking you to adopt. The School of Education really doesn't have much in the way of like actually, controlling it, or we don't, you work directly with the bookstore to order your books. So the links that are generated are sent to you. There is a contact person that I can share with you. Here is the contact information if by some chance you have to get in touch with them. But the bookstore really, they don't sell books down in the gift shop anymore. I don't think they even call it a bookstore anymore. I think it's a gift shop now. So it's all really kind of dealt with online. And of course, you can always have your students order outside the bookstore if they want to, if they want to get a better price from Amazon. I encourage that. But just that's all I'm going to share about the bookstore. It's just you have to make sure to do the link when it comes through to your email before the semester begins. So if you haven't done that, please make sure you do so as soon as possible. Um, okay, Canvas and assessment protocols. As you know, the university last January, so it's been about a year, I think now, we went over to Canvas as our learning management system. Okay, so here's Canvas right here. Um, we used to have chalk and wire as our kind of assessment solution, to where we have to collect a lot of data on a lot of different common assessments, and some projects. We have to collect assessments to prove that we're actually giving providing a good quality a degree in a program for our students. We Chalk and Wire ended up they kind of we lost them when it comes to the customer service, and now they're going bankrupt. So we ended up since Canvas, it has the ways to collect the data that we used to. So we had to come up with a new process for collecting common assessments. So if you are teaching a course that has a common assessment, that is something that is it's an assessment that program coordinators use to inform their annual reports, that we need to collect because of a specialized program, because of it's just a need that we have. It's most likely it's not every single assignment you have in your course. Some courses don't have any. But to do that, we have to create proper data buckets and a process in which you can import the assessments, and we can all make sure our data is going into the right spot. So what we did is we came up with the assessment committee, and I came up with a process to which faculty, when they teach a course, they have to import an assessment that's linked to a rubric into their course that they're getting ready to teach in the semester. So everybody should, and in fact, I went during break and I went and added everybody to a site that's called Department School of Education. So everybody should see this tile right here. If you don't, reach out to me and email me, and I'll join you to this site. So what this is basically it's a big assessment archive. I clicked on it. It's not going. There we go. It's a big assessment archive, and in these are all assessments that have rubrics attached to them. So let's say, for instance, I'm teaching 252, and I need this assessment inside of my course. And if you scroll down, like, look, here's my 356. I just did this today into my course I'm launching on January 20th. But let's just say, for the ease of things, I have to put this 252 assessment into my course. So I'm going to go into this site. I'm going to go and find my site. I'm like, oh, here's my assignment. I'm ready. I need to bring this over to the course I'm teaching this semester. What you do is you go to the three little buttons right here and you click on copy to. You then would find your course that you are copying it over to. And I'm not going to, a lot of these are filled with stuff. So let's pretend I did it. And I click it and you support it. It's going to end up showing up at the very bottom of your course. And these are attached to assignments. Now, important to know, so that's how you import it into your course, but it's important to know this. You have to, when you're grading inside of your course, you have to make sure to complete the rubric. So, I'm going through here, I'm giving threes, I'm giving twos, I'm giving ones. Now, if you look over here, you're like, well, you know what? On my syllabus, that says it's worth 6 points, but in my course, it's worth 10. That's no big deal. You can, inside of your system, you have the opportunity to put whatever points you want. I would call it an override, but it's not even an override. It's just an empty box where your actual course points go. But the thing is, a lot of people will just put points in and like move on. You have to complete the rubric. The rubric is how we get our criterion level data. So please don't like rush to get everything graded. You have to complete the rubrics. Then afterwards, you can put whatever score you want in the little grade points possible box, and then you hit the submit button. So that's the Canvas assessment policy and protocol. It's again, if you need a little more assistance, if you need me to walk it through, reach out to me after the meeting. But I wanted just to kind of show you a visual tutorial of how to do it. I also make sure that the email that I sent to you, I included instructions on how to do it. Okay.
Ryan, I just want to jump in. So those of you who don't have any of those in your courses, like don't worry about it. Because there are many of you on here that are teaching courses that don't have the common assessments. So don't get worried or scared or confused that you're missing something. So our enrollment management group, don't worry about it.
Yep.
You don't have any in there.
Yeah. And if you don't know if you have one or not, again, feel free to reach out to myself or Angela. We can tell you if you have one or not. But a lot of people are hopefully adopting a course that they would know if they have something that they have to collect data on. But again, if you don't, not the end of the world. We'll make sure to get you squared away.
Hey Ryan, this is
Yeah.
Kara, and I'm teaching a winterim course, and which ends in another 10 days. And
Yeah.
so I do have an assignment in there. So I did bring it in, but I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, that every student, kind of like what it used to be on Chalk and Wire, that I have to do a rubric for every student, and that has to be submitted. That's
Yeah.
that's what you're saying.
Yes. So, Kara, just to kind of, I can't really demonstrate because I don't have a student one, but
No,
what it'll
that's
do is
okay.
when it goes into your grade book,
Mhm.
it shows up just like a regular assignment, like you would go in there to just grade, grade, grade. When you click on that, it's I think it's called Easy Grader. If you click on that, it provides you with a full page that'll give you a preview of the document. It'll give you a thing that says grade on the rubric, and it'll also give you a little box. I wish I
Oh,
could do the
right.
visual.
Okay.
Next time I start to teach, I'll try and come up with a visual for it, so this way people can actually see what it looks like.
Okay.
As you go through, you grade it. You just enter the rubric information. You can give comments on it. But again, if the points on the rubric aren't aligning with what you have for course points, you just go in there and type what you have into the little box, and then you hit submit assessment.
So I can change the points on the rubric, or I can only change
No, you
points
change the
in
points box.
Canvas.
You change the points in Canvas in the little box.
Okay, so I already did that. I guess I just the rubric piece was just that
Yeah.
was just the new part that I just want to make sure that I
Yep.
do that correctly because
Yep.
I have it in there. I saw the email, I brought it in. I just want to make sure that
Yep.
the grading of the rubric, and so everybody should get like a graded rubric version. Okay.
Yes, please.
If I have questions, I'm sure I will email you. Thanks.
Reach out to me. I'll try my best to get it in a timely manner too. So no problem.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. Okay, so for the Netiquette guides, I showed that to you when I was on the essential documents. Let me click back here. So if you want to go there and bring that into, feel free. I think I did. They're in Word form. Actually, you can even copy them over into Canvas just directly, copy and paste it. But if you take a look at it, it's like there's things like participation etiquette, like how to format a paper, email netiquette, how to address instructors, how to address others, being respectful, how to perform in a discussion board. What are the positives and what are some negative behaviors on boards? How to act during a synchronous session. So there's a lot of netiquette content in here that just it helps because it gives learning expectations and behavioral expectations for your course. So my suggestion is if take this and put this onto a Canvas page. Sarah, got a question?
Hey, thanks.
Huh?
Yeah, quick question about kind of group discussions, particularly because, from my understanding, a lot of our students are actively working, either full or part-time jobs.
Uh-huh.
What is the kind of standard of procedures for group discussions? In previous courses, when I've taught at a different university, it was like those were heavily discouraged because students really struggled to get work done in a way that like peers could respond. Like it just didn't work out really well. Is that something that you guys do a lot of? Is that something that kind of how does that go for you all for like discussion boards and stuff?
It's I think it's really up to instructor preference, but a
Okay,
lot of the procedure, like I don't want a discussion board my students to death. It
right.
becomes very, almost like a draconian type of like exercise, sometimes. So I try and diversify the strategies that I use for student participation. When it comes to discussions, I'm very clear on if I have them doing a discussion, it's not just a one-way discussion. It's not just, hey, answer my prompt. It's that they're actually having communication. I'll give them multiple dates to which, hey, your first submission is due, let's say on January 5th and then you have to reply to your colleagues by January 8th. I'm giving them a little bit of proactive, I'm sorry, a little bit of notice that this is when they're doing, of course, and then you can deduct points or stuff like that when, if they're either, truant in that one experience or they do it multiple times. So it's
Okay.
really up to you and your course because some courses just they might be a lot of projects. It's really, I think, up to what the experience is. But yeah, I wouldn't say we frown upon it, but we definitely ask to look for different types of instructional strategies and experiences that you can provide for your students.
Okay,
Ryan, can I
fantastic.
jump in
Thank
there
you.
for a second
Yeah, go ahead.
also?
Yep.
So, Sarah, this is a great question and something I just want to share to the group. We, at least for me, and I know a lot of others do this, as Ryan was talking about, encouraging, basically multiple forms of participation. Canvas is great for allowing for audio and video responses as well as closed captioning. Um, and so that's something that we encourage too. I mean, I even have some of my students do some artwork sometimes. I mean, not regularly, but just to vary things up. And so yeah, so audio, visual, even some art. So just thinking about any ways of, because like Ryan said, I mean, you're doing discussion boards every single course. It gets kind of boring to be honest. So it's always good to have those alternative means of participation.
Yep. And there's a page there on the actual website that's teaching online or remotely. It's a little outdated, but it's still, there's still some useful resources. Let's see. Yeah, Kim said she couldn't see it. Again, if you can't see it, Kim, just email me. I'll be happy to join you in. It may have just been like a hiccup in the system, but if you don't see the assessment page, go ahead. Just email me. I'll be happy to add you. All right. So let me get back to the agenda. Okay. The AI statement. So I'm going to bring my syllabus over real quick. This is on the everybody's syllabus. And that's why I've been kind of nagging and making sure everybody is doing one that says the very bottom when you get it and you do the template that it says 10/2025 because it actually has our updated School of Education AI policy. There are certain times you're going to want them to use AI. For goodness sakes, I'm doing a Learn AI as a post-baccalaureate certificate where I'm encouraging students to use AI in certain aspects, in certain contexts, in certain assignments. There might be an assignment in which you don't want them to use AI. I want my students never to use AI in discussion forums because I want them to, that's maybe a place I'm looking for critical thinking and that they're able to start like developing writing. Um, so it's really, we do not just, we don't like cut out the use of AI. However, we leave it up to the discretion of the instructor and give them guidance. If students are going to use it, they have to, of course, cite it as if it's a source. So there's guidance there on how to cite AP. Sorry, there's there's content there. There are the rules and the directions on how to cite AI content using APA formatting. So that is a resource and it's on everybody's syllabus. So that's the AI policy. Just feel free to peruse it, but it's on everybody's syllabus. So if my suggestion is again the very first communication you do with your students, provide them guidance on how they're able to use those LLMs or what they're able to do. Some of you may want them to use Grammarly to make sure they're doing, spelling and language mechanics and everything is correct for writing if you're like a writing professor. Some of you may want them to kind of help them with brainstorming and stuff like that, or you use it for translation. There's a lot of different ways that you can use AI. So please make sure that you're being very communicative with your students about how you ask them to use AI with your assignments. I even provide an assessment scale in which I give guidance on how they can use AI tools for each assignment. So I have everything from a level 1, or level 0, which is zero, no AI, all the way to 5, where it's basically AI is doing it and it's just human oversight that's determining if it's good or bad. I might use that for just like an activity inside of my class. But I'm not assessing that, obviously. I'm not counting that as a grade. So anyway, there is the AI policy for the School of Education. Any questions?
Ryan, can I hop in there also and
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
state one thing that
Yep.
I use and then some others I know you use, and it might be a little redundant, but it's just an extra layer. I give them a one pager in the beginning of the course, and it's my expectations for their use of AI, and then I make them sign it or just acknowledge that they've read it. Again, are they going to actually follow it? I mean, I don't know, but it's there and they have it. And if anything happens, and again, it's in the syllabus already, but we know that they don't always kind of look at the fine print. So this kind of forces them and it shows them. It also, it's not just punitive. It also shows them, hey, like Ryan was saying, hey, this is where you, like for my history courses, hey, this is where you can actually use AI and this is how you can use it responsibly. So just kind of puts it in front of their faces and I make them acknowledge it.
Okay, going on to the next agenda item is progress monitoring. So we want to support our students the best way that we can, and we understand that our students, they're working students. They're constantly having to balance work with their families, with their learning experiences, with jobs. So what we want, sometimes they feel like there's no way that they can, that there's no like monitoring of their experiences here. The faculty are asked that if you find a student that is struggling, whether it's they've kind of fallen off the face of the earth, they're not communicating with you, they're not doing well their assignments. We've set up kind of like this activity. It's called progress monitoring. It's just basically a Google form where they go in as a faculty member, you would click on it and you would just fill in the information, your name, the course number, the name of the student. You kind of just indicate what concerns they that you have. And just again, there's a little open qualitative box that you can actually put content in and explain the situation. What we end up doing is the group of advisors and the chairs and Lisa, our wonderful associate dean, we talk about and we try and support our students. We talk about strategies. We reach out to them, see what's going on. We determine if do they need to withdraw, what are the next steps. We actively talk about these things a few times during each semester so we can offer support to our students. As a faculty member, both our full-time and all course associate faculty, it is imperative that you use progress monitoring. If you have a student that no shows, or if you have a student that's struggling, you have to let us know. It literally takes you 2 minutes. Can you do it multiple times in one course for the same student? Absolutely, you can. So I would rather have too many reports of the same student than no reports at all. I've had classes where I've had students say they're struggling, but the instructor who, didn't report them to progress monitoring, we can provide them guidance and help them. So please, please, please make sure you're using progress monitoring. It's in every single communication I send out to the associate faculty. It's usually the very first item like, hey, if you have a struggling student, please make sure you complete this progress monitoring form. And again, it's not just one. If you have like 2 or 3 students, you can keep on submitting them. That's fine. So progress monitoring, and again, we're able to actually support our students before they end up failing, and we give them the guidance that they need. I think it's probably one of our better programs to actually support our students in the School of Education.
Ryan, is that form also in the repository of all the other documents, or it's only through your emails?
My emails. It's on the website, and it's in my
Okay.
emails. I try and send it all different ways. It's also on the essential documents page too, and I even put it up on the main home page. So if you go right to the website that I'm using right now, it's on home page at the very top. I make sure it's like the easiest thing to find because you usually need it. It's kind of like, oh, I just graded this. They're having they had a terrible time with this assignment. I need to let them know immediately. It's kind of like that just in time moment where they can go and they can drop everything and go get help.
Okay. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Let's see, questions with specific course programs. Oh, if you have any questions about your courses, you can always reach out to program coordinators. The information is on, let me see, let me go to the live site here. Is on SOE contacts. So if you go here, there's all of the different the chairs, the deans, and all that, and all of our there's also the advisors information is here, and then here's all the SPA or program coordinators. So if you have a question about curriculum or you need guidance and stuff, here they are. I will say that Kelly Bull is on sabbatical, and Krista Declina is now on sabbatical for the spring. So just please be aware that you can always reach out for TESOL. You can reach out to Patty Silver. And for English, I guess that would be probably Angelo. We'll get you the help that you need. But just to kind of FYI, that's these SOE contacts. These are all updated too. So this is all updated information if you need to reach out to somebody. The advisors too. I wanted to, sometimes you're like, okay, well, I have a student in my course, they're struggling, or I want to reach out to an advisor, I have a question. Who are the advisors and what do they help with? I tried to create this list, or I incorporated this list that actually tells them what type of instructor. If you have a question, you can always reach out to Donna Schishler. She can kind of send the email along to the proper advisor if you don't know who it goes to. But there is our list of awesome advisors. They work really hard, and I wish I could pay them more. So there's the who do we contact. Um, just going down the list, we're kind of getting towards. I'm just going to try and go quickly. Again, Angelo covers initial certification programs. That is that they're becoming teachers for the first time. They're going through internships. They're student. They're having. I want to call it student teaching experiences. A lot of them already have jobs, but they're going through and getting initially certified the first time. I'm advanced programs, so I am. They're getting. Typically they're getting graduate certificate or getting graduate degrees. I'm not like a associated with the PhD other than I'm helping, with my dissertations. I'm helping my folks, but it's I usually do graduate courses and programs. The SOE website's right there. It is again. I'll make sure that you get the link in the follow-up email that I'll send out to everybody. EdTPA, Angelo, anything you want to say about EdTPA?
Yeah, I could talk about that, or if Lisa, if you don't mind, I mean, I could take it. Um, so EdTPA is the performance assessment for all New Maryland teachers and a number of other states as well. I'm, really, while our interns are the ones that are going through EdTPA, the preparation and the training for this start in our coursework, specifically our methods courses. We have a common lesson plan template that in our lesson plan template that all of you use in every methods course, whether it's reading, TESOL, my social studies, whatever, that is based on the EdTPA lesson plan template that they will be completing when they are interns. So it's incredibly important that we adhere to this lesson plan template. Many of you have also sat in now on inter-rater reliability sessions where we're trying to calibrate how we look at and how we assess those lesson plans. So for those of you that are not familiar, EdTPA is very similar to national boards. There's 3 tasks to it. There's the planning, there's the instruction, and assessment. For the planning, students, prospective teachers have to write 3 continuous lesson plans based on that lesson plan template. They have to record themselves teaching for a maximum of 20 minutes, and there's certain requirements with how many minutes each clip can be. And then there's an assessment portion. And so again, they do this in their internship, but this is not divorced from the coursework. And I cannot stress that enough, that their preparation starts in the coursework and not just in methods courses, but really everything that we're teaching them, whether they're in special ed courses or TESOL courses or whatever courses they're in, they're taking those pieces and using them eventually when they get to EdTPA. And so they cannot be stamped without that. They cannot be Maryland certified teachers without EdTPA. So Lisa, I don't know if I missed anything or if there's anything you wanted to add. It's kind of a short summary, but
No, that was a good summary. If any of you do teach the pre-service teacher courses, specifically methods, and want to learn more about EdTPA, you can email me, and I can send you the handbook so that you can look at it. And then also just look out for some emails. We are planning a statewide learning institute that will be at Notre Dame in May or June, and that would be a good opportunity to learn more about EdTPA. So you can think about how you might be able to integrate it a little bit more into your coursework, because like Angelo said, we need them to practice with some of the things that they're supposed to do for EdTPA and really just help prepare them. So anything you can do to help support in that is great. Thank you.
Angela, you want to share about the PhD and Ed Doctor? Any updates on the program?
Yeah, I could talk about this. So, as I don't know how many people know, but we have just created an EDD portion of our doctorate program. And so the difference really, an EDD is a doctorate, but it is more practitioner based. And so it's a little less credits, but the dissertation process is actually completely different. And our students our EDD students do not write a dissertation. They write what's called a PLIP paper or a policy planning and leadership improvement paper, where they actually create a policy and try to implement it in their place of employment. And so again, it's like a giant action research project, but it has a lot of strategic planning elements and leadership elements um, involved. And so we are having our first crop of students go through that, who are going to be working on their flip papers this spring. So if anybody is interested in that, again, it's very practitioner based. So again, a PhD is a little more theoretical in the sense where you're dealing with a little more abstract theories, whereas an EDD is, and of course there's overlap between this, but an EDD is based on is more practitioner focused and creating something that you can actually use in your place of employment. If anybody has any interest, please email me.
Before we start the wrap up and the final questions and concerns, at the very bottom of the agenda, there's two links. One is for the School of Education, the associate faculty contact information. If you could just click that and enter, it's just going to ask for updated information and content. We try and collect your information. You might have an email that changes or a phone number that changes. If you could just provide that for us, we'll make sure that we have up-to-date information for you. And also, if you could just click where it says confirmation as the associate faculty training, it's just to indicate that you were here, but also that if at the end of this video, if you're watching the video content, you can actually click on it and complete that you've actually watched it as well. So this way, it's actually saying that you completed the training. If you are new to Notre Dame as an associate faculty member, I would love to put your bio and your picture on our website. I have a collection of wonderful, and I'm kind of proud of it. I'm collecting everybody's information, and we've made kind of a really nice little bio page of all of our associate faculty members. So if you would send me a nice image that you wouldn't mind on the website and just a short little bio that you're comfortable sharing with our little learning community, we would love to share it and showcase you there. So before we kind of end this, I'm just gonna hit the stop share, and I'm also gonna stop recording. But we are here to answer any questions that you might have.